Welcome back to the Operator's Table. I'm your host, Cris Morgado. Today, I am joined by Reena Miglani, Chief Growth Officer at Empyrean Hospitality Group and co-founder across award-winning concepts like Rasa Indian, Amara, and Saffron. We will dig into brand building at the highest level, what's working in growth and loyalty, and how AI can deepen human connection in hospitality. Without further ado, here is Reena. So, Reena, where are you calling from today?
I'm calling in from the Bay Area in beautiful California, Northern California, just 20 minutes south of the San Francisco airport.
Very good. Awesome. Awesome. Just as an introduction for you and for the viewers, the arc today will be what's working. But before that, we will touch a bit on your founder journey, what channels and tech you're using at the moment across all your brands, because you've got quite a large kind of empire. Goals. I'll have a quick lightning round and then we come to a close.
Sounds great.
So I guess because the aim of this podcast is to reach out to founders as well and entrepreneurs and people that are also considering the path of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
And you've had an amazing career. So what I like to ask founders like you is, when did the entrepreneur spark came about? What did it click for you? Say, this is it. I'm going to do it my way, a bit like Frank Sinatra.
So I think for me, it happened kind of 2 decades plus in with my corporate journey. My husband has been an entrepreneur. He started a couple of restaurants that are part of our portfolio. And being a family of small business owners, I would say myself, my kids, we were always behind him in the background. So always involved in the business, with me being in corporate and having formal training in HR and different policies, working in SaaS software, always bringing that knowledge. My older daughter, who was always interested in marketing, bringing that, or being a hostess as a teenager. So in our ways, we were always involved. But after I ended my corporate journey in sales at a tech company, and then taking a little bit of a break, then going back as a chief operating officer with a mid-size manufacturing company. And in the meantime, looking to expand our restaurant business. When we signed the lease for our newest baby, Amara, in Belmont, California, I decided that it was time to join in the business. We are also empty nesters now, so we thought working together, much older with dampened egos, that we could work together and have some fun with it. So that's kind of where I ended up in full-time entrepreneurship in beginning of 2023, but have always been involved with our restaurant, what you called empire, I would say our small business. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess there is a little bit of a bittersweet feeling of being an empty nester. You've
Mhm.
got a lot of space, but your little babies are full on the nest. So that must be
Right.
like a feeling of, bittersweet. But I guess I have to come through that phase. But I guess for you, being surrounded by your husband and also having your children around, that kind of motivated you to be an entrepreneur. Did you have a mentor or someone that kind of guided you in that journey and made you the leader that you are today?
Many along the way, from managers that I've worked with while in corporate to some of the leadership coaches that I met when I was doing an executive program at Berkeley, to even seeing my husband, how he has grown this organization. I believe we are who we are because of the culture that we've built here, and seeing him sometimes giving so much of himself when he feels that somebody in the organization that has potential but is not living up to that, whether it means he'll take them out for dinner, spend hours coaching him. And, restaurant business is a hard business, and taking out that much time at the end of the shift to coach and mentor somebody. So I definitely admire that. And now that I am part of the organization, all these lessons that I've learned as a mother, as manager that grew up in a large corporation, ending up managing more than 50 plus people, and building organizations that were viewed as all A players, but within our own group, there was no backstabbing, and it all goes back to the culture. So it's a learning process. You learn from others, you learn from your experience being a mom, you learn from having two kids with totally different personalities, but at the end of the day, the goal is the same, but how do you reach that goal? You coach people differently. So along the way, there were many mentors. And then with the age, as I go back to ego, I think that's one of the wisdoms that we have. As we move through life, we learn so much and acknowledge that we can be wrong and learn from that and keep improving.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You mentioned like lessons from being a mom, but you also gone from finance to tech to
Mm-hmm.
hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
So, what those years in the tech industry kind of taught you about leading in hospitality? What parallels did you learn from there?
I would say the biggest thing that I keep coming back to, which I learned from working in tech, is experiment, succeed or fail fast, and then re experiment. I think that's something that sometimes people in hospitality miss out on, that you don't have to have a perfect menu ready. As we are moving into fall, for example, we don't need to have our proteins and our vegetables all ready. We can introduce whatever is ready. So we bought some beautiful vegetables from the farmers market. The proteins we're changing are not ready, but let's put that out there. Let's put out the dessert that's ready. So I just feel that that same approach can be applied here. Or, you don't have to have the perfect offer. You feel that you have a great offer and it's going to work with the holiday coming up. Let's just roll it out and learn from it. If it doesn't work well, next month we tweak from there. So just quick experiment, quick failing, learning from it, and moving on.
Yeah.
That's something that I've really brought into the ethos of how we operate.
I guess is maybe following a little bit the agile methodology, isn't it?
Right,
Which
right.
is basically iterate, fail, learn,
Hmm.
and grow, and then
Right.
experiment and get the cycle
Hmm.
going. That's
Right.
awesome. Now, I actually have to congratulate you on the Empyrean portfolio. So,
Thank
how do
you.
you keep Raza, Saffron, and Amara brands distinct? They're quite distinct, but how do you cross
Hmm.
pollinate? How do you have the balance of keeping them distant, but still having the lessons and then grow each other separately?
So, when we started building Amara, I would say we came in as much more mature operators, had a lot of learning from Saffron that we applied to Rasa, got a lot of success with Rasa without us even knowing what a Michelin star is, getting a Michelin star, getting accolades, and being the first Indian restaurant on the West Coast to receive a star, then getting write ups even back home in India, and seeing how people feel proud that we've elevated the cuisine and the Indian cuisine, their cuisine, to a level where they would be so proud to bring their parents in, that, hey, you're coming in from India and come visit this restaurant, the gem that we have in the Bay Area. So we were very lucky, but along the way, we made mistakes and we learned from them. And I believe we brought a lot of that learning to Amara. And one of the things that we always felt that we never did was really evaluate who we are. So as we started the branding exercise for Amara, first thing, from a very superficial level, right? What are the colors, what the logo looks like? But we started delving deeper. And again, with my daughter being an amazing marketer now in New York, she brought in her, lessons and her learnings to us and told us that you need to really understand your brand identity. She got us in touch with some amazing brand strategists and brand developers. Working with these people, we started delving into who we are. And what we realized from there is that what binds what we do across our brands is hospitality. And why we do is the joy that we get when the person gets the plate in front of them, they take the first bite, and then they go, oh, you see that expression? That's what we live for. And then, my husband and I, we are in the dining room all the time, more right now at Amara, just because it's an infant right now. But, talking to the customers, learning from them what they enjoy. We've made, over the decades of owning restaurants, so many of our friends through being in this business. So we really enjoy that. But it all ties together with hospitality and having empathy for what the customer is here for. They here because they took time out of the day to be at your restaurant. So what can we give back to them? So we realize it's all about hospitality, how we treat people. Saffron is more of a casual concept. Rasa is upscale Indian. At Amara, what we are building is fine dining, great ingredients, but comfort food cooked in the minimalistic way that all of the Mediterranean treats as food, but deliver it in, I don't even want to call it fine dining. I want to call it that in a way which is aesthetically pleasing, that without it being ostentatious, it looks pretty. The restaurant's pretty. The restaurant has its own scent, which makes you relax. So all these elements just kind of play without you knowing which of your senses we are hitting. You just come here, your shoulders droop because you are just feeling relaxed and you have a great time having a great meal that nourishes you and doesn't give you that feeling when you wake up next morning like, why did I indulge so much? Because the food is nourishing and healthy. But across everything, wherever you go, you know that if you're going to a restaurant that Ajay and Reena have brought to the market, you're going to be treated well. You're going to be treated as family. So that's what binds all of our brands together.
Yeah, which is ultimately the satisfaction of the customer and
Right,
and the unique experience and
right,
having a
right,
delightful experience. And it's
right.
amazing because there's a lot that you just mentioned there that sometimes seems a bit casual, but it's all like in the pursuit of the delighting the customer, like the
Mm-hmm,
scent,
mm-hmm.
the
Right.
visuals, everything
Mm-hmm.
creates the experience. And of course, the food is like the icing on the cake.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that's awesome.
right. And it
So
was
it
very nice. Sorry to
does go ahead.
interrupt. I met somebody yesterday and they said, hey, you know what, Ajay and Reena, you've built such a special place. You can come there to celebrate. And they were talking about Amara. Or you can come in when you're not having a great day. Or you can just come in every day. It always feels right. And that's what we're trying to build. We like to call it a paradise, not for someday, but for every day. Because you should have a good time every day of your life, right? Life's short. Don't wait to have special moments just once a year. Come down, have a good meal, have servers that feel like family and have a great meal and go back feeling great. Like, why can't you have mini moments of joy all the time? So that's what it's about.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Mini moments of joy. I like that. Coming a little bit more to the dry side of the business,
Sure.
in terms of metrics or
Hmm.
signals,
Hmm.
you've got like, let's suppose a dashboard. Is there anything
Hmm.
that you look for in terms of showing you that you're having a good quarter or a good month? Is it things like repeat visit rates, covers versus capacity?
Definitely look for repeat customers and that loyalty, and look that across our portfolio because we feel we have three restaurants that are very close, within what 5 mile radius, so they're very close to each other, and we're trying to drive loyalty by providing great food, great experience every time that you come in. So we want to keep people in our ecosystem, and we do have certain check average that we're looking for, but we always tell our servers that if we want people to come in repeatedly, just see why they're coming in. Are they celebrating something? Then there is things that you want to sell. So definitely driving those numbers, but seeing overall where the picture is versus that every table is going to hit a certain mark, because we don't want to be pushy. We want people to feel comfortable. We want them to come back because they have a great time, especially when they're coming with their family. So we're looking at that. But more than that, I think something that we are not able to evaluate in numbers yet, and I'm sure some countries like some Icelandic countries have figured out, where they say what their happiness index is, but we're really trying for all of our teams to be happy. Because I always tell people when I'm not in a good mood, even my scrambled eggs are not going to taste good. So if our teams are not happy, they're not going to cook food with joy. They're not going to bring that element into the food. The same thing if our front of the house team is not happy, it's going to show in their service. So something that we cannot directly evaluate, but I feel that it starts to show in the average spend of your customer. It starts to show whether the customer is having dessert because it's so much about delight that, okay, I don't want to leave, let's have the dessert. So I think all of those things are tied together. So we
Uh,
do look at the regular numbers that you would expect, an entrepreneur who has three different businesses will be looking at, but we also try to dig in deeper. and
Yeah,
see where the decline might be coming from. And then, of course, there's factors like what's happening in the economy, how people are feeling about their 401k today. It really drives their spending behavior. Or we are here in Silicon Valley around us, our families where people in tech are losing their jobs because of AI or whatever reason. So all those factors come into play.
sure, I understand. So
Hmm.
do you track those metrics with a dashboard, or do you use this, you have a dashboard,
Yes, we
bespoke?
use a dashboard. I won't say it's perfect or I'm completely happy, but we do keep trying to improve that. And our managers are, we're lucky that they're doing some of the brunt work where we cannot bring everything on a dashboard. They are pulling data into Excels and then providing us a snapshot on a weekly basis.
So it's not all in one place yet. It's a bit fragmented in
It
parts.
is a bit fragmented and it's starting to come together. So, for example, Toast has a really nice tool now. It's a beta tool where it's AI driven. I would say it's just an add on widget to their app where you can talk to it and get some data quickly. I can then pull that and put it into our weekly meeting dashboard. Perfect dashboard does not exist, at least for us today. If you come across one, let us know. Again, our data is in so many different places, so it's challenging.
And is your dashboard a bespoke dashboard? Is it an off-the-shelf dashboard, or is it a bespoke one?
So we have the off-the-shelf dashboard, but then we are bringing in some of the data that we pull together and then make that bespoke in-house.
Did you say, is it Toast, the name of the dashboard you mentioned?
Yes, we use the data from Toast, which is our POS system.
Right, right.
Right.
Okay. Do you mind if I'll just dig a little bit more into the dashboard conversation?
Sure. Hmm.
Um, so let's say, for example, you had a magic wand and I give it to you and you create the perfect the dashboard. What will the dashboard contain for you?
First of all, it will be a difficult question, not something that I have on top of my,
I understand. I'm sorry.
yeah. But I'm trying to see what I would like to be able to see every day is definitely my sales numbers. Along with that, what each of the server is producing. What are the highest selling items? What are the upgrades? Who's selling more of those? Then, along with that, tying in my customer data. Now, with my customer data, one of the biggest challenges that I'm facing is my customer data resides in 7 Rooms, which is our in house floor management system. It's also with OpenTable. For one or two of my restaurants, it's with DoorDash also. Now, I have no idea about my repeat customers. If when I want to reach out to them for marketing, I don't have that data. Then I also want to know a customer coming in, what kind of influence can they have beyond dining with me today? Are they a C-suite person? Should I be telling them that I have capability of having events for 300 plus people for their holiday parties or having an intimate board dinner? I don't have that data yet. OpenTable provides a little bit, partially for some customers, they'll have their LinkedIn link. But beyond that, I don't have that. On 7 Rooms, it does show my repeat customers, and I can go into their history and see, oh, they went to my restaurant in Burlingame Rasa, they went to Saffron, but they're first time customer at Amara. But does it give me a snapshot that this is a customer who likes to buy a $300 bottle of wine? It doesn't do that. So there's so much um, that can be done around that to really understand your customer, to customize their experience. That does not exist. So that's my everyday pre-shift kind of data that is not available, that I'm working on trying to improve and see where we end up with that.
I understand. Because I'm aware you building an AI tool at
Hmm.
the moment. Is that part to resolve this?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So that is basically something you're working towards establishing a solution that
Right,
will meet these needs. Is that right?
right, right.
Yeah, cool. Interesting.
But I would definitely in the future either want to work with somebody that can pull data from these different systems and provide a dashboard.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
of
something
KPI.
maybe we can circle later after this
Mm-hmm.
podcast because I think I've got an idea or two how I can help you with
Okay.
that.
Sure, sure.
Now, In terms of industry trends,
Hmm.
I guess you are in the Bay Area. Have you seen anything that is shifting in terms maybe more premium, casual, chef-driven, membership dining? Is there any particular trends you're seeing at the moment?
I'm seeing definitely multiple trends. One I would say is how people drink. That's something that we've all been hearing that consumption of non-alcoholic drinks are upping, and I think we're seeing more of that in this area. I don't know the numbers for sure, but my kids are in New York. When I go there, I do see people getting more alcoholic cocktails versus over here. There is definitely more demand for non-alcoholic beverages, especially with the younger generation. Secondly, I also feel that post-COVID, even though we have been post-COVID now for a few years, people's habit of being staying home and ordering in has not shifted. It takes a lot more to bring them out. It has to be more experiential or more social driven, where they are in their own people that they know. So I know there's a lot of restaurants and other organizations that are working with restaurants that are trying to break that. There's a couple that launched this group in New York where they'd go to different bars, they bring in professors, the professor talks about something interesting and quirky like quantum physics, and then people come in, get together, get to know each other. There's something like that that is here in San Francisco. They do not host things at restaurants, but there's definitely a need for that to bring people into the restaurants and having them get out and get off their recliner and watching Netflix, but going out and listening to some interesting topic and then mingling. There's definitely a need for that to bring more people into the restaurants by doing something like that. For us, we are trying to build more and more events. So we do every weekend, we do a DJ night and we're experimenting with different types of music, seeing what resonates with our audience. And seems like everything that we brought in, people have enjoyed that. So this coming weekend, for example, we're bringing in a woman DJ. You know, DJs are always so associated with males, but there's such amazing female DJs in the Bay Area. So I want to highlight those. We had a calligraphy class here recently. We did a Diwali party, ticketed event in Amara's garden. So we were able to bring Indian food from our other restaurant, from a sister restaurant. So experimenting with that, we're thinking of doing a ticketed Friendsgiving. And then when you come in, you can sign up for Thanksgiving meal that is available the night before Thanksgiving. Take it home, heat it, and serve it. And I want to tie that, see how the government shutdown continues. But if the SNAP benefits are going to be discontinued for a little while, add that when you buy a meal, we'll be donating a meal for people that are facing nutrition and hunger issues. So we are trying to build more like community-based events that encourage people to get out of their house and come socialize and meet new people.
Yeah.
And we
The-
used to do that, right? Like before COVID, people would go out, sit at the bar, meet new people. We're doing just less and less of that. So,
I mean, in London, they're doing something similar, which is a
mhm.
bit like similar to TED Talks, but in
Mm,
venues like restaurants.
okay.
And I think what was popular for a while, I'm not sure if that is still very popular, but was speed dating,
Hmm.
particularly amongst single professionals that want to meet outside the apps and having more
Right.
of a real experience. That was actually quite popular. Like a
Mm,
DJ and speed
yeah.
dating, that's actually quite
Hmm.
something that people
Hmm.
are into. If I
Hmm.
find anything else interesting, I'll let you know in the scene in London. That might
Right.
be. So you mentioned COVID. I mean, COVID squeezed a lot of operators, particularly in the kind of catering and food and beverage industry. Is there anything still other than COVID that is squeezing margins? Because I suppose tariffs might be one of them, freight, cost
Hmm.
of goods,
Hmm.
utilities. Are all those impacting your business as well?
Definitely. So, first of all, the labor cost is because the wages are higher here, and they're still not high enough for service industry people to live a comfortable life in Bay Area. But also, as restaurants, we have almost a boundary like how much prices can we raise. The price of groceries have gone up. Tariffs are definitely impacting some of the finer olive oils, for example, that we get. A lot of our produce locally, but there's other elements, especially for Indian grocery, that are getting impacted. So the margins are definitely squeezed, but there is only that much ability that you can pass that cost to the consumer, because on the consumer end too, they have a lot of pressures with same things, tariffs going up, grocery being more expensive, people losing their jobs. So I would say restaurant industry, if you pick up any major publication, you'll see is definitely going through its moment. It's really suffering right now. And I just tell everybody that, whoever I can talk to, I try to educate that, we're not trying to fleece you. Our margins have really, really been squeezed, and it's across the industry that's happening.
And like you said, basically eating out, the price is not inelastic.
Hmm.
Basically, there's so much you can charge
Right.
before people start walking away. So it's a very
Right.
fine balance as an operator
Right.
within
Right.
the food industry to
Right.
make sure you're providing quality produce as well that
Hmm.
is still affordable and maintain
Right.
that quality. It's a difficult thing to balance.
Right.
So I suppose in terms of what's working well for the Empyrean Group and your brands in general, is there anything in particular that is really working well that you are still quite happy with what you're achieving so far?
I would say with the repeat diners that we see, and I feel it's definitely to do with how much we put into building the brand loyalty, which is all driven by hospitality. With the Saffron, which started in 2002, we've seen multiple cycles of housing crisis, this bust, that bust, but we've survived it. And we are considering this to be another few months of difficult situation for the restaurants, and we'll turn the corner. But i- while we're in that cycle, we still want to stay focused on our customers, our employees, so we do not lose touch with what's the most important thing for us, which is treating our employees right so they bring that same kind of energy and joy to hospitality and stay focused on that. So I would say those are the things that we are still focused on. That's what's working, and that's what keep bringing people back. We post COVID, we had stopped doing catering because we just felt we didn't have the right talent or enough staff to be able to deliver that well. So that's another element we are focusing on, and hoping to bridge some of the pressures that we are seeing with prices and tariffs, that we can increase the business on that front. So focusing on adding that, and that's our big focus for next year, to add more events at our venues, having more caterings, more offsite events to add to the revenue.
I understand that's quite a good strategy. I mean,
Hmm.
I guess that's what's working. So I guess there's always two sides of the coin. Is there something at the moment other than the margins that you find challenging within your group? Is there something that is causing a bit of friction other
I
than
think the
margin?
big, I think biggest thing is the margins, because we are very happy with our teams, whether it's in the kitchen, the heart of our house, whether it's the front of the house teams. We are very happy with where our teams are. And we are very happy with the product that we are delivering. Three distinct products, but all done consistently well. They're very happy with the seasonality that we have. We started Amara with being a very seasonal restaurant. Rasa too, we added more of seasonal vegetables, seasonality. We're bringing the same element to saffron, kind of permeating that ethos of eating across all of our brands. So we're very happy with everything. We're just waiting to get through this economic cycle, and setting ourselves up with this additional, back focusing on catering, office deliveries to add to the bottom line.
I understand.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean, you mentioned that basically you are in a people business, and it's all about not just the people you're serving, but the people that work with you, which after you are serving them in another way, you're providing them
Hmm.
livelihood. So it's
Exactly.
important to keep that alive. But
Right.
beyond the people, If I bring it now to the business itself, is there any particular workflow at the moment that you think you could automate that could make your operation more efficient?
I think there's multiple things. There's lack of time and probably even tools. But I touched upon the customer, right? Having more visibility of who the customer is to drive a better experience for them. And for us to understand what their needs would be so we can sell them the right thing, not just when they're seated at the table with us, but predicting what their future needs could be based on the data that we have, the first party data, the second party data publicly available, how we can merge that to create a better profile. Then, same thing with our suppliers, right? What if I could feed in my invoices and scan, see where I can get better pricing? So there could be tools that could do that. I would say even scheduling, there could be more automation in scheduling, seeing the trends, and then merging in that I have this huge event that's coming up at the church next door on this evening. Chances are in the past we've seen 20% or 25% bump in our evening dinner walk-in traffics, bringing some kind of bringing that data in, applying artificial intelligence, and helping our managers to create a better schedule.
That's interesting. So I'm looking at potential social events in the area that can be fed
Right.
into a planning in terms of probably creating a menu specific to meet those needs.
No, just scheduling how much staff we need that night, right?
Ah, right, right.
Yeah. Or even looking at the weather. But you've known that in the past, if it's a dreary day and it's raining, you're going to see 10% drop in your dinner. Why not look at the weather forecast? So there's so many elements that you can bring in to make your scheduling better and saving time for the managers so that they can actually spend time on other things.
I understand. So you mentioned like scheduling tool. Is there
Mhm.
any other tools you think will make it kind of useful for you to have?
We have scheduling tools, but I don't see them bringing these kind of elements into that. So,
Yeah. Now, what I meant is there any other tools that you think could make your operation more efficient other than just scheduling tools, something that you've been looking in the horizon for?
I believe today we have a lot of tools. They don't all talk to each other.
Integration.
Again, yes, the integration. Again, you don't want to go to one vendor. I don't think there's one that exists today, but you also don't want to go to one vendor because then you don't get best of breed. But when you have best of breed, then they don't talk to each other. So integration is definitely an issue. And I believe if we can figure out how to extract data and then create custom GPTs, there is a lot that can be done to make life easier for entrepreneurs in the hospitality world.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Again, but going back to, right, like these data exist across, how do I pull that data and provide intelligence, whether it is for buying better, whether it is for scheduling better, or is to know your customer better, or how to market to them, what loyalty program is working, what's not. So,
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. That's very interesting. I'm conscious of time. We've
mm,
got, I think, roughly 9 minutes, and
yes,
I had a few more questions.
sure.
I think, going to, I guess, skip quite a few because I don't want to make you late for the appointment. So I think I'll just ask one more, and then maybe a
Sure.
very quick light round, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So I guess considering the future, if you could invest in one area of your business, where would you invest? Will it be people, systems, or marketing?
Right now, where I am, I would do marketing.
Right. And where do you getting your customers from at the moment? Do you use any particular marketing channels that are proving quite popular for you?
So in house, I have more than 20,000 plus customer database. That
20,000?
has 23,000 almost. So reaching out to them has been my best marketing tool. Word of mouth has been our best marketing tool. We've been very lucky to get featured in San Francisco Chronicle. That's really, really helped because it gets the word out to all the different, for a lack of a better word, we don't call them boroughs here in the Bay Area, but the different regions of the Bay Area, South Bay, East Bay. So that gets the word out. And we personally tell people that Please tell your friends, be our ambassadors. And don't wait to say that I'll bring my friend. Just tell them to go.
Yeah.
So that has been a beautiful way to market. Social media, we use that. And we're very conscious of not like just chasing how many followers we have. I do look at engagement. For Amara, which is the newest brand, it has 1,600 followers. That's not a huge number compared to some newer brands where I see they have 30K followers, but they're very engaged followers. If I post something, right away see 100 plus people watching a story. So that tells me that people are interested in hearing what we are doing.
I understand.
Across the brands, we're also starting to peel the onion. So I personally feel I'm so bored of looking at these curated pictures, and I want to know more about the founders. I want to know what's happening in the kitchen. So we're trying to do a little bit of peeling the onion so people get to see what's happening, how the product that they get in front of them, where it comes from, how it gets there, what was the process. So
I ask a lot of people, is that a book or a podcast that you'd like to recommend to the listeners and the viewers of this program and to help them in their personal life, entrepreneurial journey, or anything like that?
one, I would say that I've been following Will Guidara. I've read all his blogs for my inspiration for hospitality. So that's one. There is an operator. He is also a mentor in the industry. His name's Josh Koppel. I like to listen. I follow him on LinkedIn. I listen to his podcast, and I like the fact that he's a no nonsense guy, and he works in what I told you about, right? Experiment, fail, repeat, rinse and repeat, do things better the next time. He really is a believer in that, acting fast, and believes in momentum. So that's another person that I listen to. Those are the two top of mind right now for me.
That was an awesome conversation. I
Thank
want to
you.
say, Rina, thank you for pulling up a chair at the operator's table.
Thank
So, for
you.
everyone listening, if you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show and share it with a friend who loves the craft of hospitality. Today's guest was Reena Miglani. I'm Chris, and this is the operator's table where we meet the people who keep the business moving. So, thanks for listening.